All right, let's dive in. Today, we're on a quest for the holy grail of perfumes, the ones that last and last and last.
The ones that just make you smell amazing all day long.
Exactly. We're talking about long-lasting perfumes for women. And to guide us, we have Jeremy Fragrance and his top 10 list from his YouTube channel.
Oh, Jeremy Fragrance, he's got some strong opinions about perfume.
He does. And we're going to break down his picks, but we're also going deeper. We're going to talk about the secrets behind what makes a fragrance actually last, like what makes it stick around.
It's like magic, isn't it? How a single spritz can linger for hours.
It's amazing. So let's start with Jeremy's number 10 pick, Chanel Coco Mademoiselle.
A classic.
Yeah, but Jeremy says it's almost a victim of its own success. Like it's so popular that it's kind of lost its uniqueness.
Oh, interesting. So is it still a good perfume?
He seems to think so, but it brings up a good point. How important is it to have a unique fragrance? Like, do you want to smell like everyone else?
That's a good question. Maybe some people like that, but for others, they might prefer a scent that's a little more unique, a little more them.
Right. So maybe something from the niche perfumery world.
Ah, yes, the world of niche perfumes.
We're going to get to that. But first, let's move on to number 9, Tom Ford Black Orchid.
Ooh, Black Orchid. That's a powerful one.
Yeah, Jeremy describes it as hardcore and daring. He even suggests it might not be a typical man-pleaser.
Interesting. So is he saying women should only wear perfumes that men like?
No, not at all. I
Yeah.
think he's just pointing out that Black Orchid is a bold choice, a scent that makes a statement. It's not trying to please everyone.
I like that.
Me too. Okay, let's see. Number 8 is Ellie Saab Girl of Now. Jeremy highlights the pistachio note in this one.
Pistachio. That's different.
Right. It's not a note you find in every perfume.
It shows how perfumers are getting more creative, using interesting and unique ingredients.
Exactly. And speaking of unique, Jeremy's number 7 pick is Mugler Muse. He says it's the strongest on the list. Like it's borderline aggressive with its chocolatey notes.
Wow, aggressive. That sounds intense.
Yeah, he even says you need to be careful with how much you spray because it has a huge sillage.
Sillage, what's that?
Oh, right. Sillage is basically the trail of scent a perfume leaves behind, like how much you can smell it in the air.
Oh, I get it. So Muse has a really big sillage. It's like a fragrance that announces your arrival.
Exactly. Okay, let's move on to number 6. Tiffany & Co. Intense.
Tiffany's, huh? Ah, that sounds pretty.
It is. Jeremy loves the powdery iris vibe it has, and he points out that powdery fragrances tend to last a long time.
Is there a reason for that? Like, why do powdery notes last longer?
I'm not sure. We should ask an expert about that.
Yes, good idea. Okay, what's next?
Number 5 is a tie.
A tie. Interesting.
Yeah, it's between Versace Dylan Blue Pour Femme and Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. Jeremy sees these fruity fragrances as representing different personalities.
Oh, so like Dylan blue is for a certain type of woman and light blue is for another.
Exactly. He says Dylan Blue is for a mature CEO and light blue is more playful.
That's kind of funny. I wonder if people actually choose perfumes based on their personalities.
I think some people do. Like they want a fragrance that reflects who they are.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, what about number 4?
Number 4 is Jean-Paul Gaultier's Scandal, and it's apparently a brutally long-lasting honey fragrance.
Honey. I wonder what that smells like.
Jeremy says it's amazing, but he advises only wearing it during the winter.
Maybe it's too strong for the summer.
That's probably it. Okay, we're getting close to the top. Number 3 is Lancôme La Nuit Trésor.
Ooh, I've heard of that one.
It's a popular one. But here's the thing. Jeremy says he doesn't love it as much these days, but he still recommends it as a gift, especially for wintertime.
So even though his taste has changed, he still thinks it's a good perfume.
Yeah, it's like he recognizes that it's a quality fragrance, even if it's not his personal favorite anymore.
That's interesting. Like, our taste can evolve over time, but that doesn't mean the perfume itself is bad.
Right. Okay, ready for number 2?
Yes, bring it on.
It's Marc Jacobs Decadence. And Jeremy calls it a man-eater fragrance.
A man-eater fragrance. Wow, that's bold.
It is. He says it's for confident women who want to make a statement.
I like that.
And finally, the number 1 spot goes to
Drumroll, please.
Lancôme La Vie Est Belle. Jeremy says it's an orange blossom superstar, and basically everyone loves it.
Orange blossom. That sounds lovely.
It is. He even goes so far as to say that orange blossom is like a drug for men.
A drug. Really?
I know, right? But I think he's just saying that it's a very alluring scent.
I can see that.
So there you have it. Jeremy Fragrance's top 10 long-lasting perfumes for women.
Wow, that was a lot of fragrances. We covered a lot of ground.
We did, but we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore, like what actually makes a fragrance last,
Hmm.
and how does skin chemistry play a role?
And what about this whole niche perfumery thing? We need to dive into that.
Yes, there's so much more to uncover about these captivating scents.
Welcome back. Ready to uncover more secrets behind these long-lasting scents?
Absolutely. I'm especially curious about what Jeremy said, about Chanel Coco Mademoiselle losing its uniqueness because it's so popular.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought, isn't it? Like, does a fragrance become less special if everyone's wearing it?
Right. It's like if you're looking for a fragrance that helps you stand out, maybe the super popular ones aren't the best choice.
Maybe that's where niche perfumery comes in. Those smaller perfume houses that focus on unique and often limited edition fragrances.
We touched on niche perfumery earlier, but I think it's worth exploring a bit more. What sets niche fragrances apart from the mainstream ones?
Well, for starters, niche perfumes usually have really unique compositions. They're not afraid to use unusual notes or create unexpected combinations.
So it's more about artistic expression and less about mass appeal.
Yeah, I think so. Niche perfumes are more about creating a specific experience or telling a story with the scent. And they often use really high-quality ingredients, too.
It sounds like niche perfumery is a whole world waiting to be explored. But for now, let's get back to Jeremy's top 10 list. He mentioned that some of those perfumes, like Tom Ford Black Orchid and Mugler Muse, can be quite strong, even a bit aggressive.
Right. Those two are definitely statement fragrances. They're not meant to be subtle.
Is there a risk of wearing a fragrance that's too strong? Like, could it have the opposite effect and actually repel people?
It's definitely possible. Yeah. Fragrance is very personal, and what one person finds alluring, another might find overwhelming.
So, what's the etiquette for wearing strong fragrances? Like, are there certain situations where it's more appropriate than others?
I think it's all about being mindful of your surroundings. Like, you probably wouldn't wear a super strong perfume to a job interview or a hospital visit.
That makes sense. It's about finding the right balance between expressing yourself and being respectful of those around you.
Exactly. Now, remember what Jeremy said about orange blossom being like a drug for men?
Yeah, that was a pretty bold statement.
It was. And while there's no scientific evidence to support the idea of orange blossom having, actual addictive properties, it does touch on the powerful connection between scent and attraction.
So it's more about the psychological effect of the scent, the way it triggers certain emotions or memories.
Exactly. Our sense of smell is directly linked to the limbic system, which is the part of the brain that controls our emotions. So certain scents can evoke very strong feelings and memories, which can play a role in how we perceive others.
It's amazing how much power a single scent can have. But I'm curious, why does the same perfume sometimes smell so different on different people? Is there something to that?
It's all about skin chemistry. You see, everyone's skin has a slightly different pH level, and that can affect how a fragrance interacts with your skin and develops over time.
So it's not just about how the perfume smells in the bottle, it's about how it mixes with your own unique scent.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to try a perfume on your skin before you buy it. You need to see how it works with your body chemistry.
And speaking of perfume working, what about sillage? That's something we talked about earlier. Can you remind us what it is and why it's important?
Sillage is all about the trail of scent a perfume leaves behind. It's basically the projection of the fragrance into the air, how noticeable it is to others.
So a perfume with good sillage is one that you can smell even when the person wearing it isn't right next to you.
Exactly. It's like the fragrance has an aura, a presence that extends beyond the wearer.
And how do you get good sillage? Is it just about choosing a strong fragrance?
Well, partly. The concentration of the perfume plays a role. Like the difference between an eau de toilette and a parfum.
Right. Parfum is the most concentrated, so it usually has a stronger sillage.
Exactly. But it's not just about concentration. The quality of the ingredients matters too.
Makes sense. Higher quality ingredients probably last longer and project better.
They do. And even the way you apply your perfume can make a difference, like spraying it on your pulse points where your blood flow is closest to the skin.
Oh, like your wrists and behind your ears.
Yes, that helps the fragrance radiate outwards. And another tip, don't rub your wrists together after applying perfume.
Really? Why not?
Rubbing can actually crush the fragrance molecules and alter the scent.
Interesting. I never knew that. Okay, so we've talked about sillage and skin chemistry, but what about the psychology of scent? Jeremy called Marc Jacobs' Decadence a man-eater fragrance. Do you think scents can really influence our behavior and how others perceive us?
Absolutely. Remember, our sense of smell is directly connected to our emotions. So certain scents can definitely trigger certain feelings and associations.
So it's not just about smelling good, it's about choosing a fragrance that projects the image you want to convey.
Exactly. Whether it's confidence, sensuality, or even a sense of mystery.
It's like creating an olfactory persona. But speaking of personal preferences, what about signature scents? Is that still a thing?
I think it depends on the person. Some people love having a signature scent, one that becomes their trademark. Others prefer to switch things up depending on their mood or the occasion.
So it's really a matter of personal choice.
Exactly. There's no right or wrong answer. The most important thing is to choose fragrances that you love and that make you feel good.
And if you do decide to have a signature scent, make sure it's one you're truly passionate about.
Absolutely. It should be a scent that reflects who you are and makes you feel confident and authentic.
This deep dive into the world of long-lasting perfumes has been so fascinating.
It has. And now I'm really excited to take a closer look at Jeremy's top 3 picks. Lancôme La Nuit Trésor, Marc Jacobs Decadence, and Lancôme La Vieille Belle.
Okay, we're back, and I'm ready for the grand finale. Jeremy's top 3 long-lasting perfumes.
Me too. We've covered so much ground, it's time to see what takes the top spots.
All right, so his top 3 are Lancôme La Nuit Trésor, Marc Jacobs Decadence, and Lancôme La Vieille Belle.
All really popular choices.
They are. Let's start with La Nuit Trésor. Jeremy said he doesn't love it as much anymore, but he still recommends it, especially as a gift. What do you think makes it so enduring?
Well, La Nuit Trésor is like a warm, sensual hug in a bottle. You've got those dark, rich notes of black rose and vanilla orchid mixed with a touch of sweetness from the lychee and praline. It's kind of mysterious and alluring, you
Oh,
know?
I can see why it would make a good gift. A little bit of mystery never hurt anyone.
Exactly. Now, onto the man-eater fragrance. Marc Jacobs Decadence.
Ooh, yeah, that one sounds intriguing and dangerous.
It is bold, that's for sure. It combines plum, saffron, and Bulgarian rose with deeper notes of amber and vetiver. It's definitely a fragrance that makes a statement.
It sounds like something Cleopatra would wear. Confident and powerful.
Yeah, definitely. And finally, we have the champion, Lancôme La Vieille Belle, the orange blossom superstar.
The one Jeremy said is like a drug for men.
Right. But putting aside those dramatic claims, La Vieille Belle really is a beautiful fragrance. It's sweet and fruity with that prominent orange blossom note, but it also has a warmth and depth from the iris, jasmine, and patchouli.
It sounds very well-rounded, like it could work for a lot of different occasions.
Exactly. And I think that's part of what makes it so popular. It's like a crowd pleaser, but it's also sophisticated and elegant.
Well, we've explored Jeremy's top 10, delved into the science of scent, and even talked about the psychology behind fragrance. I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too. But I also feel like we've only just scratched the surface of this fascinating world.
That's the thing about fragrance, isn't it? There's always more to discover.
Absolutely. There are so many amazing perfumes out there, from the mainstream to the niche, and each one tells a different story.
So, to our listeners, keep exploring. Don't be afraid to try new things. Step outside your comfort zone and find those scents that truly speak to you.
And remember, fragrance is more than just smelling good. It's about self-expression, confidence, and creating an unforgettable impression.
So go out there and find your signature scent, or maybe even a few signature scents, depending on your mood.
Until next time, happy scent seeking.